Form and movement in animals. The body structure of an animal determines the kind of movement it exhibits. We know that our backbone helps us stand upright and enables us to move. Based on the presence or absence of the backbone or vertebral column, animals are divided into two groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. And vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals that have a backbone or spinal column, also called vertebrae. These animals include fish, birds, mammals, amphibians, and reptiles. Vertebrates are further classified under warm-blooded animals and cold-blooded animals. Warm-blooded animals can maintain constant internal body temperature and survive in any temperature range as they adapt to the harsh conditions of any kind of environment. They obtain energy from food consumption or from metabolism, for example, birds and mammals. Cold-blooded animals cannot regulate their internal body temperature according to that of the changing environment. Normally, they find it difficult to survive the extreme temperature conditions. They obtain energy from the surrounding environment. For example, fish, reptiles, and amphibians. We can see how lizards and crocodiles take sunbaths to warm up their bodies to make their muscles or brain work. Invertebrates. An invertebrate is an animal without a backbone. In fact, invertebrates don't have any backbones at all. Invertebrates that you may be familiar with includes spider, worms, snails, lobsters, crabs, and insects like butterflies. Invertebrates have skeletons, but they are not made of bones. Invertebrates such as worms and snails have a skeleton of water inside their body. Invertebrates such as spiders and insects have a skeleton of hard materials on the outside of their body. This kind of skeleton is called an exoskeleton. Invertebrates such as sea anemone, centipede, clam, coral, crab, cuttlefish, earthworm, jellyfish, lobster, millipede, octopus, oyster, scorpion, sea urchin, snail, spider, squid, starfish, tarantula, etc. Movement in earthworm. An earthworm is an invertebrate. It has a long tube-like body. It has no bones. Its body shape is maintained by the fluid present inside its body. That fluid is called coeloid fluid. An earthworm's body is made up of several parts called segments. When an earthworm moves, it first reaches forward with its pointed head. The segments of its body become longer. That makes the earthworm's front end thin and long. The earthworm uses its tiny hairs to hold onto the soil. Next, the head pulls the rest of the earthworm forward. The segments pull together and become shorter. Now, the earthworm is short and fat. Then, the head reaches forward again, making the front end thin and long. The earthworm reaches and pulls its way through the soil. An earthworm moves using circular and longitudinal muscles, as well as bristles called setae. The earthworm can push the setae out of its body to grab the soil around it. To move forward, the worm uses its setae to anchor the front of its body and contracts the longitudinal muscles to shorten its body. Movement in snail. The snail is a very slow-moving animal. Like an earthworm, a snail too has a liquid skeleton. Snails have a shell inside which they can hide to protect themselves from the heat of the sun and enemies. The shell is the outer skeleton, but it is not made of bones. They also have a pair of tentacles that bear eyes at the tips. Snails move by using a muscular organ called the foot. A snail uses its single long muscular foot to crawl on a layer of mucus-like slime that it secretes. These waves of muscle contraction and relaxation travel along the central portion of the foot from tail to head. The waves move much faster than the snail itself and generate enough the snail forward. How do snails move? The snail's foot is highly muscular and adapted for traveling over hard surfaces. It has a large flat foot which remains attached to the surfaces over which it is crawling due to the adhesive properties of slime or mucus. To prevent damage to the softer tissues of the snail's foot, it secretes slime and a continuous trail of slime is laid down, often seen as snail trails. This is secreted from glands under the mouth. A number of species of snails found at Killarney in southeastern Queensland. The carnivorous snail with the long neck in the center of the photo will use the slime trails to track and catch the other species. Cockroach. Cockroach is an insect and is a terrestrial animal, mostly a common household pest. Cockroaches possess various types of locomotion. They can walk, climb, or fly. The body is divided into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. Three pairs of legs are present in thoracic part, which moves by the muscles present near its limbs or legs. The body is covered with the outer hard exoskeleton. It uses breast muscles for the movement of wings, due to which they can fly. Movement in cockroach. A cockroach's body is covered with a hard outer skeleton. Cockroaches have a pair of antennae that help them smell things. They have also a pair of cerci that can detect the slightest of movements and warn them of any danger from behind. Though cockroaches have two pairs of wings, they can only fly short distances. However, they are able to run and climb very fast. Like all insects, cockroaches have three pairs of legs. They can work in a very interesting manner, moving three legs at a time. Let us suppose the dots represent the legs. The red dot's legs move forward while the blue dot's legs remain on the ground. Then the blue dots or legs move forward and the red dot's legs remain on the ground. This movement is repeated. In my next video, I will explain some movement in certain vertebrates. So if you have liked my video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.